Welcome back once again. Prior to this short break, we had discussed with Ruby how important is reading, and she linked it with the technological advancement and said that it doesn't matter whether you read from a phone, a mobile phone screen, or a laptop, or any other gadgetry. But the question is, are the children reading from there, or they're using it as another tool for some video gaming? Coming to Barbara. Barbara, you, as your introduction tells, that you have been working with various educational institutions. And as a matter of fact, I have got this question, and I don't know who to ask in this panel. And that is, despite the fact that for years and for ages and in every generation, children's literature has appealed to the adults equally. And if we, from Archie comics to various other characters, I mean, most of the Hollywood movies now are based upon the fairy tale characters which stemmed from children's literature. Still, an author or a writer who selects children's literature as an expression of his emotional or his intellectual outburst finds this a very lonely path. One, because of the fact that among his own peers, children's literature is somehow or the other at the lowest level of the literary chain. Is it so, Barbara, that they don't like to pursue their career in this form?
I think children's literature is everywhere, but before I begin, I just want to say Assalamu alaikum, and I'm very honored to be part of Read Pakistan. So thank you. I'm just so pleased to be here. Thank you. Reading is everywhere, and I think that as my colleague recalled her experience as a young child, I think for those of us and the children and the adults in the audience, for those of us who are excited and motivated about learning, it's because someone has touched our life somehow. That it's the voice of a teacher, it's a book, it's something that our father said or our mother said, or it's a story that our grandmother told us, but there's something that touched us in a way that inspires us and motivates us to want to learn more. And it could be about a specific thing. So I can remember my mother telling me stories when I was very young. And I remember the sound of her voice, and I remember the warmth of her close to me while she was telling me the stories. And she allowed lots of time for me to ask questions and point to pictures and things like that. And I had favorite books, as probably many of you do, and the characters from the past and the characters now. That there are characters that we just loved when we were young, and we have those characters now. So I notice that there, I think is an Aldo shoe shop, they now have shoes with Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Who would have thought about that? And they are remaking movies that we saw as children, and now they're making movies again. And I remember asking my daughter, like, why are they doing that? These stories were wonderful, the movies were great, we love Cinderella. And she said, Mom, my daughter doesn't like the drawings, she doesn't like the eyes, she doesn't like the clothes, she doesn't like the phrases, so now we have to have something new. So it's still the same, very similar story, but it has been changed, so it's more appropriate to this day of fashion, of hairstyle, of phrases that we use. So just recently, there's another new movie, a Disney movie. It's called Lady and the Tramp, the one about the dogs. They're going to make that one again. And they just finished making Lion King. So even though the movies were very successful 20 or 25 years ago, my daughter can talk about the Lion King, but now she has a daughter that's going, and the stuffies look the same, but the movie is a little bit different. So it's something that I think inspires us, it motivates us, and for those people who are the writers making the movies, it's all part of their childhood, part of their memory, and something that has inspired them, and they want to continue it in the future. I think it's very dear and very wonderful. and it will.
I totally agree with you. I mean, something that we had read, and then we started watching the same. I remember, आप में से कितनों ने किसी को अलिफ लैला टीचर्स में से किसी को याद हो अगर तो हो पाकिस्तान टेलीविज़न की एक बड़ी मशहूर सीरियल हुआ करती है अलिफ लैला और फिर उसके बाद ऐनक वाला जिन तो शायद काफ़ी को याद होगा लेकिन अलिफ लैला वाज बेस्ड अपॉन द अरेबियन नाइट्स एंड पाकिस्तान टेलीविज़न स्टार्टेड विद दैट विजुलाइजिंग द एंटायर epic and it was something which was very popular among the children because we would actually see how Aladdin would have looked like or how was this Shehzadi Sheherbanu and all that.
But that's
Fatemeh.
actually true, Shamoon. I have this practical experience with my own son. He's 2 years old now. But when he was only 7 months, I got him a book, which was of a very friendly tractor, right? And I could never thought of it, that he would actually grow out and think of tractors in a positive way. He's 2 years old now, looks at a tractor, always goes like, whoa, tractor. Because the book, which I bought him when he was 7 months or 8 months old, it had a tractor. His name was Jethro, and Mr. Jethro was a friendly tractor, and he loved helping his friends and making things, you know, in the right way and everything. So I thought that the moral's going to be fine, the one thing that we started with. So I gave him that, and now he's 2 years and he realizes everything. So Barbara, I think 110% for that we can connect with books. When we connect at an early age, that makes the whole of the difference at the end of the day.
Thank you for this comment, Fatemeh. Now, coming to you. There's lots of questions I would like to ask you. I would like to indulge into a cultural debate with you. I would also like to know, from Iran to Germany to Pakistan, is it more appropriate that the children be familiarized with their own cultural stories first, the land icons of their own culture, or if from the very beginning they are exposed to alien, and now when we talk of alien, it's no more the cultural barrier of East and West, but we actually have alien characters coming from the space. But let me start from this. In the beginning, we talked about the career path that every student has to follow and how important it is for him to become a doctor or an engineer, so he or she is a money-making machine. In this whole path, do books or reading, extensive reading, extra reading for pleasure, reading for creative outburst, for an intellectual pleasure, does it fit anywhere? Or is it an extra burden, something that you must not do while you are preparing for your papers? So where do we place the habit of reading and the importance and urgency, and the word urgency is very important here, of career planning?
Shall I first say Salamun Alaikum? आपका क्या हाल है? ठीक हो? Oh, you're tired. Oh, you're sleepy. आपका क्या हाल है? ठीक है. And now you should ask me.
आप कैसी?
मैं बेठीक हूँ. So that was all my Urdu knowledge. I hope it gets better. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for starting with this point of, you know, this having this various cultural background. I think when we talk about reading books or books at all, we should think about whose voice is going to be heard in the books and which voices are ignored or neglected, which voices we don't hear from our books. I'm sure all of us have read a lot of books, school books, and the school books are full of, the characters which sets our mind about our nation, the region which we live, even the city which we live, even who we are. Like, we are mostly here females, so we here have also this kind of discrimination in this soul, that we have very few males and very many females here. And this is something that happening also in our school books. And this is not just a problem of Pakistan. I think this is very, very global problem, that mostly we show a man as successful characters of our nation, or successful people in the world, when in the real life maybe it doesn't apply. We also have successful people in Iran, in successful female people in Iran, in Germany, in Pakistan. So I think books are affecting very much our culture, our identity, to learn who we are, through learning also about other cultures. And when we say culture, it can be also about gender roles. It can be also about minority, religious minorities, race minorities, ethnic minorities, how much we do know about them. We should not be surprised when our children are not familiar, for example, with Afro-Americans or Africans. When they see them, maybe it's something very not touchable for them, because look at our books, how much we actually give them a character in the stories. How much we give a character of a pilot to a woman in a story. How much we give a female role to a fire person, a fireman. We say fireman, but it even can be firewoman. So we discriminating our book production. We are producing the content with our biases, with our stereotypes. And then we expect that children learn everything and grown up and have a very, very balanced mindset, which is impossible. So I know that from now on, the people who are in this salon cannot make a revolution, but maybe we should learn to read critically. Not everything that you read in the books necessarily you should believe. You should believe just after you discuss it with your friends, your parents, your teachers.
Fatma, let me cut you here. The very issue that you have touched upon is something very important. Now, there is one character which a storybook or any piece of literature has created. And you have that intellectual liberty to criticize it for its biases. Why is it so that Cinderella has a stepmother, so every stepmother is a Diane one? But on the other hand, when this typical kind of a stereotyping is there in a syllabus, and you are going to be judged on the basis of that, then I have to paint a stepmother as a Diane, because only then will I get the marks. And there are so many Diane in our Pakistan studies and in our Islamiyat, because in the post-Jal Muhammad Ziaul Haq, fixed stereotyping has been placed on this nation, and this is the case with every nation. So there's a difference between the literature and the textbook. Where would I place this poor girl who does not have that intellectual liberty to appear in a paper and criticize what is there in the textbook?
We have to also, also improve the culture of reading, not just textbooks of the schools, but also many other books which are available. As actually Ruby said, and which was very, very correct, we cannot travel all over the world. We cannot practically go to Iceland, the United States, I don't know, Vietnam, or many, many countries which are out of our access, but we can read books. We can learn about them. And this is not just about books about Thailand or Iceland. This is about literature. This is, for example, how Jane Austen, for example, explained about living living life of a female in UK. And this is how you learn about the society. It should not be about that England has a capital city of London and, you know, has how many cities and what's the political structure there. You should also read about the literature. You should also read about its music culture. It's so colorful, the world. And I think you also touched very, very important point. I think somehow in conservative or very, very say altmodisch in German, old-fashioned structure, educational structure, we actually prevent the students to read other books besides the textbooks.
So basically,
and this is very wrong. So, yes.
No, yes, just that. So basically, at the end of the day, Shamoon, this is what is important. You tipped up on a very important thing, that the textbooks that we have and the other reading, it needs to be segregated. So the textbooks, yes, you're right, it gives basic incentive to go towards the book, but basically moving forward is where your initiative and your incentive is going to come in. So what happens at the end is that once you have a book, which is a textbook, that's just giving you, yes, we're just trying to fix you in that habit of reading. But what is us all about, or what is this basically, this panel sitting?
But do you really read a textbook or you memorize it?
Well, our system sort of, kills the whole idea by ratification. Exactly. See, so at the end of the day, see, यहाँ पे बच्चे बहुत ज़्यादा हैं, तो मैं उनको कहूँगी जो रट्टा आपने लगाना है वो आपने नहीं लगाना at the end of the day. Why? Let me put it in other words. रट्टा जो है वो basically it is you're not memorizing it. You're just keeping it in your mind and you're learning nothing out of it at the end of the day.
फातिमा आपको मरवा देगी. अब मेरी ज़बान सूख गई है अंग्रेज़ी बोल के. सो मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि मुझे ये पहले बतलाइए जल्दी से, क्योंकि अब हमारे पास 5-6 मिनट रह गए हैं. आप में से कितने लोग हैं कि जिन्होंने खुदा न खास्ता पिछले दिनों में कोई किताब पढ़ी हो? एक ही तो बच्ची है, हाथ पे उठा. यहाँ कौन सी किताब पढ़ी थी? वो जो इतना बड़ा मुंह के ऊपर मास्क चढ़ा के बैठी हुई है, शर्मा रही है. जी बेटी, कौन सी किताब पढ़ी थी? अनमोल बातें. किसकी लिखी हुई है? गुड. अच्छा, अब मुझे, हाँ बेटी, ये किसने लिखी? हाँ, निम्रा की किताब पढ़ी. गुड. और इसके अलावा लिटरेचर से, अच्छा, एक ज़माने में बहुत ज़्यादा असातिज़ा भी यहाँ बैठे हैं. कुछ आपको अगर याद हो कि हमारे यहाँ उर्दू लिटरेचर में कौन कौन से अच्छे लिखने वाले, बच्चों के लिखने वाले थे? किसी ने टोट बटोट पढ़ा है क्या? एक था लड़का, टोट बटोट नाम था उसका, मीम से लोट पीता था, वो सोडा वाटर खाता था, बारह मखरोट.
Sorry sir, I think I didn't get that much Urdu, but I think you were asking
I was asking about them,
which books
they have read.
I think that's maybe one of the good things, because now are also teachers here. I think this should not be just important that they have the best note in math or other syllabuses. Maybe also they have to show themselves how good they are in the school, with mentioning which was the last books that they read in this week, and then next week they come with the next book.
Exactly.
I think that's also one of the things that teachers in the school can really encourage the students to discuss the books, because also not everybody can read all the books in the world. But this gives a very good public context to them.
Another important issue of Fatemeh and Fatemeh, and also Ruby and Barabara. Another important issue. Teachers are sitting here, and I wish not to enter into a discourse that may embarrass them, not because of their own intellectual skill, but because of the management structure that they are in. I don't know how much resources they given school puts into a library. आपके यहाँ लाइब्रेरी है स्कूल में? टीचर्स की तरफ से बहुत ज़ोर से यस आया. ठीक है. This is one of the issues. अच्छा, उनमें किस किस्म की किताबें हैं? What kind of books that the school library has? In most of the cases, कम से कम 15 से 20 साल पुरानी किताबें हैं, क्योंकि पिछले 10 सालों में बजट में इतनी गुंजाइश नहीं थी कि किताबें खरीदी जाती हैं. सो ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि आप स्कूल के लिए 2 कंप्यूटर ख़रीद लें, ताकि एक अकाउंटेंट रख ले, उस पर फीस जल्दी जल्दी तेज़ी से वो फीस बच्चों से ले सकेगा, और एक रख लें जिस पर स्लिप जल्दी जल्दी बन जाती है। प्रिंटर ख़रीद लें। पहले मुझे याद है कि टीचर्स वो उसको क्या कहते थे, साइक्लोस्टाइल किया करते थे, पेपर जो है वो लिखा करते थे हाथ से, एंड देन इट वुड बी साइक्लोस्टाइल्ड। अब वो चूँकि आ गया है आपके पास, फोटोकॉपी मशीन खरीद लें। हाउ मच रिसोर्सेज आर वी पुटिंग इन द स्कूल्स, एंड हाउ मच organizations like Reed Foundation are connecting with the educational institutions? How much people like Barabara are more interested in creating libraries? And when I say library, I'm sorry, I'm quite an old-fashioned person. I don't like digital libraries. The love and the affection that this paper book gives me, on the side I can write it. इफ्तिखार आरिफ साहब ने कहा था, अजब घड़ी थी, किताब कीचड़ में गिर पड़ी थी। आज तक हमने वो किताब कीचड़ से उठाई नहीं है, और नतीजतन बहुत सी कीचड़ हमारे दिमागों में बैठ गई है। वो रफ़ा तब होगी जब हम अपने बच्चों को पढ़ने की आदत देंगे। बहुत अच्छा है कि हमारे माँ बाप की अमारत उनके लेटेस्ट मोबाइल फ़ोन से झलकती हो, और उनका बच्चा उससे खेल रहा हो तो मम्मी को एक किक मिलती है कि बच्चा iPhone 10 से खेल रहा है। काश मम्मीज़ को और डैडी को ये किक तब मिले जब बच्चा शमसुर रहमान फ़ारूकी का नया नावल कई चांद थे सरे आसमां भी पढ़ना सीख सके। इजाज़त दीजिए, खुदा हाफ़िज़।